Yeah, we're here with the legendary Larry. Larry, what did you want to ask me?
From Friday morning session, we did a session with two young guys demonstrated perfectly. You got the knee pinch on me.
Yeah.
I go to turtle up. You sit out a certain way, then I move a certain way, and you follow me.
Yes.
And then you go for an arm drag. Do you remember that? Because I didn't get a chance to do it.
I do remember that. But first, can you tell the people what they need to do to the Happy Pill YouTube channel?
You go on Instagram, you follow it, and it's very good. Best thing you could ever do. Best learning session you could ever get, and it doesn't cost much money either.
That's right. You heard it. Legendary Larry. Like, share, subscribe. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything.
You know, so after I'm finished in here, it kind of depends on how he falls, right? Like, so if I'm elevating, and if he's here, then I'm going to look to pass, right? Like I'm already kind of like a leg drag. So from here, I can post here to try to pass that leg. And then now here, I'm already in side control. Okay, so that's a good position because you've already, I mean, again, here I'm already on the outside, right? And there's different finishes from here. If I'm trying to finish this and he like turns away from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to climb this leg. So I'm taking this hand, it's going above the knee, so it's going on the thigh. This other one, same thing here. And then this other hand is going above the knee as well. Okay, I don't want to rush and come to his hips because then he can defend that. So I'm above both thighs. Now I can elevate that. And I can run it down.
And what you can't see is whenever you have a lever in wrestling or jiu-jitsu, you want to increase the length to the maximum possible. Justin had his hands at my knees and his shoulder kind of right at the crease in my butt. And that way, he can put a lot of pressure down. If you're on the thighs, you just don't have the leverage. Or if your shoulder's above the butt, no leverage.
Yeah.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen,
whatever's good for you guys.
let's partner up till about 5-10 minutes. And we'll get another
Some questions. A couple guys said, hey, why don't you go right to the whizzer or the overhook on a single? And for some guys, like if you watch the Tiev, really famous Russian wrestler, he wanted to be there, right? So if that's your thing, go there. But for most people, you want to sprawl and down block first. If they beat that, stuff the head. If they beat that, that's when you go to overhooks and tricks. And just one really quick trick here for, like if a guy's got me up here, especially if you're not wrestling a super high level wrestler, I'm going to duck my shoulder below his chin, grab both elbows, grip the elbow towards me, my leg back to the mat. There we go, okay? So again, he's here, we're fighting, I can't get the head down. A lot of times I'm fighting the head so he comes up with it. Now I'm here, shoulder under the chin, leg kicks to the mat, pull the arms towards me, now recover, okay? And I'm going to show two techniques here just because we're running low on time. And Justin, you may have some other input on this, but guys said, hey, what happens if he goes two collar ties? In wrestling, we don't see that much, but I played with the position a little bit. And if a guy's going two collar ties, he's probably elbow close, right here. And all I'm going to do is pass over the top. And the pass is always there when the elbow is near your sternum. So now he lowers his level, passes it over, and then follow and stalk. But I don't know if you have anything else for him from this double.
I would just say you could do the same thing that Les already showed. You'll just pick a side. You're going to pop this, and then you're digging that underhook and getting your hips underneath you. So that's the only thing I would do from there.
And just a real quick third, if they're there. I just told you not to put weight on your own head, but occasionally I'll clamp the forearm to my chest, grab the tricep, and I'm going to do this slowly, Justin. I'm going to push in with my head while I pull that elbow towards me into the mat. Pretty powerful. So, right there. So you got three options: pass, pop, or try to rip their shoulder out of socket. If you're successful, beat them with it. Okay? And then remember, there's a right way to lock your arms. And then in terms of positional defense, sprawl and down block when they shoot, stuff the head, square up the hips. If they beat that, we can go to the whizzer under the head, under the chin with our shoulder and rip. And just as a kind of a tactical side note, there are some times when your opponent is not expecting you to attack. And this is a great example here. If I clear this, what do most guys do? Whew. Okay, got rid of that, right? Where it really gets inside this guy's head. If you rip and you're coming, right? So look for those positions in tactical situations where you can get in their head. Okay, I didn't just defend that. I'm not gonna let you breathe, I'm coming after you. So don't discount the ability to break your opponent through tactics and taking advantage of situations where they're getting more tired than you are, or just, I mean, look, sometimes just coming back to the middle of the mat, running back, looking fresh, I'm ready to go. You might be exhausted, but they see it and they'll react. Okay, let's give it a try. Ready? Everybody's really getting caught up into the hand work, and the reality of it is, a good 2-on-1 or with Russian tie, I don't like to give them the credit, it's not hands, okay? It's this shoulder motion. See, I was able to clear that with my front delt, right there. The hands are secondary. And in fact, the more you mess around here, the more the guy knows what's coming. And so ideally, you're popping that off with your bicep, your shoulder, coming to the hand. Really key point that almost all of you missed is you get your head back in position. See, 2-on-1, right here in the pocket. Now I've got something, okay? Hands and head are the first two lines of defense. With the 2-on-1, I've taken the hand out, and then once I get my head in position, I've taken his head out of the game. Slowly taking position away and then capitalize. Anything else you saw?
Yeah, on the finish, so after we're getting here, so we're shrugging this off, getting this, I don't really have to hang on to this arm too long. Really, as soon as that leg's forward, I'm changing levels to get it. If I hang out here too long, he's gonna try to square up, that leg's gonna come away. So from here, if he does that, I'm just high here, I'm just trying to pull, see that? So I'm just doing a big pull, and I'm high enough on his arm to do that. If I'm down here, and I try to pull this arm, there's mobility in the shoulder. Okay, so he's squaring up. So I'm just gonna step, and then I'll make that adjustment. And then when I'm driving with my head, I'm trying to, I have my legs wide, like I'm in an athletic stance. Some of you are coming narrow like this. Okay, I wanna be wider in athletic stance, and my head is up. I don't want it down here. It's up. I'm gonna push. See how it's affecting his balance? If he's trying to balance, he can't put weight on this leg, because that's what he's going to try to do to defend. So if I'm coming down here, but if he's here, it's a lot harder for him. Makes this leg light. So I'm stepping. See, sometimes that can take him down just right there. A good push with the head, because it's like having an extra hand. You know, like if you had an extra hand to push a guy, that'd be great. But here, you all have strong necks, right? You know. So, but look, like you can, see I can push him with my head, so use that head like a hand to get him off balance. That's gonna help you get the leg. And it's, so I'm bumping, sliding down here to get this deep. And then when you're finishing again, some of you are getting confused here, I'm gonna flex for the crowd, and sweep that out.
And the goal of Justin flexing for the crowd, I'm gonna hop in here. Flexing for the crowd is to bring that foot forward. I mean, you see people all the time messing around like this, it drives me crazy. Bring the leg closer. One way is to come here, and keep in mind, this is a lever. I'm going up with this hand, down here. You see how that brings the leg close? Now it's a really easy finish. So again, length of levers. Okay, I'm here, I've got the maximum length of lever here, then I'm on the toe, I bring him close. It's almost like they want to jump down for you. Anything else there, Justin?
No.
Okay. I'm just going to show you another variation of clearing this tie, and this is really ironic. I don't know if you know wrestling, you'll get this. He's a Greco guy, I'm a freestyler, he just showed a single leg. I'm going to show a Greco technique. So Justin, collar tie this side. Doesn't matter. Hand or collar, doesn't matter. I'm going to get an underhook. The impediment is this forearm on my collarbone. Opposite hand, punches at the elbow, right there. Again, head and hands are the first two lines of defense, taking both away by getting an underhook and head position simultaneously, right there. Okay, now, once I get, go ahead this side, right there. Easy. So what do you do when you get there? Every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I rarely go for the first thing because they're ready for that, right? So we'll start with this side. I'm going to go ahead and fake a shot just with a step in here and snapping. And the idea is that when he's in his good stance, his legs are under a center of mass, and I can't snap him. By getting him to take a step back, it's easy. The other thing is, the key to a snap defense is a nice staggered stance, right? It's hard to snap me because of this front leg. The second I even his stance up, really easy just to pop him forward. And so, again, I go ahead, I'll pop it again for him. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and fake, right there. From the head, from the leg, he steps back to the head. Now I'm gonna snap and sprawl. I don't wanna snap him into my legs. Maybe in jiu-jitsu you might, but I'm gonna snap here. Now my short offense, okay? As an alternative, okay, sometimes I'll fake a single or a foot sweep. He steps out of it, right there. We call that a knee block. Okay, so I got my underhook. I'm gonna go ahead and either fake a foot sweep, he steps out of it. There you go. Or snap down. Any questions there?
Can I get a question?
Yeah.
On that knee block or behind, what are you doing with the underhook? Are you driving it up, pushing forward?
Yeah, good question. And so the teaching point on this one is I want to put all the weight I can on the far leg that I'm picking. The goal is just to run him over it, okay? So I get full extension, like you're waving at the crowd, right? Full extension, my body extends, and I'm going to run, and essentially, I'm running forward with 2 feet. He's trying to hop laterally on one leg, but I'm blocking at the knee. So he's in trouble. He's going to lose that race. Okay, so full extension. Second step's really important because it's between our legs, not between his. Crowded with my hips as we land. Any questions? Let's go. When you get an underhook, they've lost a lot of position, right? They've lost their head in terms of it being a line of defense, and for the most part, they've lost their arm. And will you just put your arm around my back? Like there. So I see some of you, you'll notice his arm is around my back. So in my opinion, this is poor unless you're trying to set him up to shoot, because there is absolutely nothing stopping me from going here. If I get an underhook and he does not overhook, and he's right there, I'm going to step there every time, okay? Now, at high-level wrestling, if somebody was doing that, I'd be afraid they were baiting me, right? But for the most part, they're going to get an overhook because this forearm in the rib cage serves as a little bit of a line of defense. And so for most of these techniques to work, it's predicated on him putting an overhook on, right? Because that just makes the technique work better. If he's not going to overhook, I'm just going to drop to the single most likely. All right. In terms of just general collar tie, and I should have showed this first, I normally do. When a guy collar ties you, one of the best things you can do just initially is to pull that elbow to you, right? You see how I make separation there? That negates some of his power. If you let a guy have his elbow in here and just really crank on your neck, it's heavy. If he gets my elbow towards his chest, now his 2-on-1's there. Now he's able to pop it to the outside, get his underhook, but you've got to initially pull that elbow, create a little space, Now you can do something, okay? So you don't want to hang out there and then, I mean, I always hate teaching what not to do, but it drives me crazy, especially in wrestling, because the guy's got weight on your head. He's blocking you. And my pet peeve is when somebody gets a collar tie, you see the guy go on top, and what do? They pull it down and make it heavier. Don't do that. Don't do that. Come inside, pop it to the outside, pull it off. Don't put more weight on your own head, okay? Any questions so far? Okay, how long do we have here for technique? 20 more minutes. Okay, I'm gonna stop and talk a little bit because you asked me to talk about single leg defense. Okay, just defense generally. Think about it, and I'm teaching from a wrestling perspective, so you guys will have to translate it into jiu-jitsu. But in terms of my stance, I want to simultaneously be ready to defend and attack at all times. At least that's my philosophy. Maybe late in the match you don't need to attack, you can go a little more in defense. But in order to do that, you have to have bend in your trail leg, okay? Because you need stored energy in that trail leg, both to attack and to sprawl. You really sprawl off your trail leg. And so, from a wrestling standpoint, bend in both of my knees, especially the trail leg. You see guys get tired and do this. I can neither shoot nor sprawl right here. I have to get ready. You don't ever want to get ready to attack or sprawl. So bend in both legs, evenly distributed, okay? Hands are my first line of defense. And this is one, and again, jiu-jitsu may have some nuance, but which leg's in the most danger of being attacked if we're wrestling? My front leg. So just basic wrestling 101 logic, if my right hand protects my right leg, my left hand protects my left leg, which one's the most important to keep down in front of my leg? My right one, okay? This is my down block arm, and it's also my attack arm, right? So if you think about when I shoot, I'm gonna reach here, I'm gonna reach here. So my lead leg arm is like the most critical thing in a wrestling match, to have down in front of me and to not get it tied up. In fact, in really high level wrestling, when you get a lead, you want to tie up the guy's lead leg arm, 2-on-1, because they can, I mean, they've still got some options, but they're severely limited. Don't limit your own options, right? If I'm a right leg lead, don't reach up here and give him this, okay? If I'm going to collar tie, I'm going to come up to the other one. If I'm going to start fighting hands, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to crawl up them with my trail leg arm to the extent possible. Don't give them this one. Don't give it to them, okay? I am really stingy with my lead leg arm, like crazily so, because if I give that up, I take away my ability to down block if he shoots. I take away my ability to shoot if I want to shoot. So again, lead leg arm down, ready to down block or attack, evenly distributed, and most importantly, stored energy in my trail leg so I can shoot or sprawl. Okay, that's just basic wrestling. Now, you asked me what I do when a guy actually gets in on a shot. I mean, we're going to assume I couldn't down block, and we might go over that in a minute. Most people, it's like a moth to the flame, right? They want to go to the problem. They want to start fighting hands. And the reality of it is, I want to stuff his head with both hands, and I want to get it down as low as I can here and cover it with my head, right? So he gets a single leg. I'm trying to stuff this head with both hands if I need to, but I'm going to stuff it, cover it with my hips. All right? If he's on one knee, okay? If he's here, same thing. I'm going to hit it to the inside, stuff it right there. And do we have any guys here that are long, lanky with flexible shoulders? Where are they? Yeah, it's all, no. I'm not going to hurt you bad, okay? Okay, so we get here, and I call them Klingons, right? Like, they're going to hold on, they can go flat, and it just drives me nuts. And my guess is in jiu-jitsu, you get here quite a bit. So one thing I'll do from here is I'm going to block at the knees. I'm going to push on the knees, and I'm going to scoot my hips back. Why'd you let go? Okay. I thought you said you guys were tough. Okay, so again, I'm going to push here very low, lengthen my lever, not here, might tickle a little bit, but I'm going to go here. I'm going to push and scoot my hips back. Okay, now, and you guys might enjoy this because it's jiu-jitsu. I like to get a figure 4 here. Okay.
Details on that one.
We'll do it a good 10 more times. We'll get this. Okay. So again, he's here. The key thing, don't try to sprawl yet. Stuff the head right there. Now I'm in the driver's seat. Okay. If he starts to drive, toes down. Toes out. Let him drive me across the mat. I don't care. As he drives, I'm going to push on those knees. Okay. This one's hard to do. This is impossible, so I don't know how to do it on that side. Okay. So again, stuff, cover. Don't panic now. Push on the knees. Scoot him back. If he holds on to it all the way down, I just pinch it right there. Lift the elbow off the mat. Figure 4. Okay. Any questions there? Okay, let's give it a try. Ready? Okay, so first of all, just from a philosophical standpoint, I see a lot of people getting in hurt. Like in wrestling, it's really common. You get in a hurry when there's no reason to be in a hurry. Sure, time left in the match is a factor, but there are some positions, just because I'm a little bit of a sadist on the wrestling mat, that I want to take my time and make them suffer a little bit. And this is really one of those situations where when a guy gets a leg, and we're here, and I'm pushing on his knees. Go ahead and hold on to the leg, please. When I'm pushing on him here, he's using 3 units of energy. I'm using a quarter. Hell, I might let him fight back up a little bit. Grind back in. Oh, good job, buddy. Oh, okay. Eventually, they start questioning some life decisions, okay? You want to give them that time and opportunity. And so, certain situations, you want to savor. And this is probably one of them. Let them use some energy, okay? The other thing is, let's just go flat. The figure 4 go flat, yeah. The figure 4 for some of you was maybe a little tougher. Look what happened, I'm just gonna show you an alternative. Look what happens to this elbow when I straighten my leg. Okay? It's an unbelievable amount of leverage, okay? So, again, I straighten this out right here. Hips in, okay, tight, right? And then if I really want to be mean, I can high leg over. Okay? So that's another option. I'm gonna let you guys break and talk about that in a second, but, and I hate to do this, we just don't have much time. We didn't cover it on the single leg, and because we're doing defense, I think this is important. There is a right way and a wrong way to lock up your single leg. Okay, so when I lock up my single leg, does anybody know what the right way is? Hand around the back of the leg is always palm down. Always. I mean, this is not one of those things that's up for discussion, unless there's some special jiu-jitsu thing I don't know about. Hand that goes behind the leg is always palm down. Doesn't matter if I lock here or here. The reason is, break my grip. Can't. If it's this way, I'm not strong, right? And so if you do it properly, and he tries to fight your grip, he helps me out, okay? And that's why if he's got a 2-on-1, I can still shoot a single as long as I grab my own forearm. Hand behind the leg is palm down. So at any rate, practice, again, that sprawl, push on the knees. And one other thing I saw, just conceptually, he gets a single, okay? Again, you can't be in a hurry here, all right? So when a guy gets a single on me, my first reaction is to get this head down. Now the scales are tipped a little farther back into my advantage, okay? He's still got my leg, but I'm controlling his head. And this is one of those situations, now he's gonna panic a little bit and not 100%, but wrestle a little bit, okay? I mean, just by controlling his head here, I've got a lot. Now I can square my hips up and sprawl. So again, a guy gets a single leg, yeah, I want to sprawl and down block if possible, but if he gets to my leg, I'm controlling his head right here. Wrestle a little bit, okay? Okay. much better. Attack his head, his ass goes out and up, his head goes down. Now I start to have some options. Okay, ready?
If you forget, go on Happy Pill. Those videos were non-stop on how we get behind here, how we insert, how we recover, hip flips, everything. So you should be really kind of coordinated if you read long. If you haven't, if I see all messed up, I'll be yelling at you. You don't watch the Happy Pill. Okay, guys, so let's do it.